founder of SkyDancing Tantra. Please tell us more about that.
Yes, SkyDancing Tantra is a lineage. That is, it's an ancient transmission that began with Buddha Padmasambhava and Yeshe Tsogyal in the 8th century Tibet. And I have been given the task by these beings and others that appeared to me to create a modern approach that can transmit the secrets of the highest level of SkyDancing Tantra awakening to the people of today. So that's what we do in SkyDancing Tantra. We have a series of practices that are taught in the Love and Ecstasy training, which is a 2-year training providing 3 weeks a year of practice. And it's a very powerful training, and we have been teaching it for 33 years, and we are always full, and people always say that it is the best training in the field of Tantra, and I agree. We are the Christian Dior of Tantra.
Wow, thank you for that. So Margot, let's dive deep into Tantra, and I'm curious, how can Tantra help people in their lives?
Well, when I first approached this subject, I realized that the people generally for a long, long period of time, centuries, have been given to believe that they need an intermediary between themselves and the divine, or themselves and God, because they are not good enough, not clear enough, not powerful enough to wake up on their own. So they have somehow someone in between there to pray to God and to take you to the church and to tell you how you must think and behave. Well, there's good in that because it maintains the people in a certain duty towards a good morality, towards a good way of being with each other and with one another. So that's good. But there is also a very bad side to that, which is that it disempowers people. It gives us the impression that we cannot be sovereign beings in charge of our own morality, of our own life. And so bringing Tantra in the picture is basically bringing a certain sense of empowerment, a certain sense of freedom. Because when you go through these practices and you enter into very blissful states and you realize that you are in touch directly with the divine, you are the divine in your nature, then as a sovereign being, you suddenly feel like you can decide for your life, you can choose your life. And this is very important. This is the first awakening. And that is what SkyDancing Tantra is providing.
Thank you for that. Let's hope more people connect with the divine within and without.
Yes.
Yes. So, Margot, you have been on this path for many decades, and you started early in the 70s, as I know. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And you also spent a lot of time with Osho when he was in the body. So we are curious if you can share with us any mystical experience you had with Osho.
Well, I have had many teachers. I'm now of an advanced age, so I probably started researching and learning from teachers before most of the people that are doing this today. And I have had the good fortune of being with many great teachers still today. Those enlightened beings are not necessarily looking for becoming famous or well-known. The real enlightened ones are very satisfied to be sitting on a pillow or on a rock somewhere in the nature, and they have a very strong hermit side. So, because in aloneness, you can connect with the divine and with nature the very best way. So, however, I would say that of all these beings that I have the good chance to meet, Osho was the most fantastic teacher. And why? Because Osho taught me how to trust my deep inner intuition and how to think for myself, not to bring on the scene something rehashed because I learned it from someone else, but to practice what I learned until I get the aha experience of it, until I feel, okay, now I understand what this is about. And an honest teacher should always do that. First, you embody what you're learning. Then you go deep inside yourself and you ask your soul, your spirit, okay, what do I want to teach? And how am I going to learn from my students? Because you need to be in a certain humility to, accept these transmissions and receive them. So with Osho, I had many mystical experiences. So which one to choose? My favorite story has to do with this. I went to see Osho for the first time with a broken heart because I was just divorced. Then I asked Osho, can you heal my heart? And he checked me out and said, you're okay. Emotionally, you're not disturbed. And then he sent me to do a Vipassana, 10-day Vipassana meditation course, which I did. And I talk about in the Love, Sex, and Awakening book, which I remember to tell you to read because it's very interesting. Stories of my awakenings. Stories of my initiations, I would say. So anyway, he had told me that after the Vipassana, I should come and see him. So I went to see him. In the room were 40 people at the time, very solemn and serious because most of them were Germans. And my name was called and I came to sit in front of him and I said, Osho, thank you, because I was grateful for this experience I just had, this learning that I received. And then he put his finger on my third eye and I felt a rumbling, earth-shaking sensations in my coccyx. And then I realized that this was a huge cosmic laughter that was releasing itself in my body. And I was laughing so hard that I started rolling on the floor, with my legs and my arms up. And I had eventually to be carried to my seat. And Osho was chuckling in his beard. Then I thought, upon leaving, when all was done, I thought, okay, I had a great experience, a great healing, a great laughter. Okay, the evening is over, that's over. But not at all. Every night at 7 p.m., the same time, the same laughter started again. I had nothing to do with it. It would just erupt inside my being. And it didn't matter what I was doing. Sometimes I was having dinner in a restaurant with some friends, and then the laughter would send all the food around, out of the plate, all around on the table. Nothing I could do. I couldn't help it. It was happening. So, believe it or not, this went on for 1 entire month. Every night, 7 o'clock, the laughter came. And what that did is it transmitted to me the joke of life, the lila of life. And it was impossible to take myself seriously anymore. And that was a very healthy and helpful approach to life. So that was one of the mystical transmissions that Osho gave me.
Thank you for sharing this very mystical experience. And it's definitely a good reminder to not take ourselves so seriously or what's happening to us so seriously. It will help us to feel lighter in life, for sure. So from a mystical experience to maybe a more practical question, I would say, what's your advice for couples for a long-lasting, peaceful relationship?
Well, I think that couples should avail themselves of an outside witness, teacher, advisor, counselor, whatever you want to call it, so that whenever they enter into difficulties, they turn towards an outside authority, because it's much easier to resolve your conflicts when you have an outside friend who can help you to have a fresh perspective. So that's number one. Number two, take once a week a time for tantric practice. Very important. My best friends are people that have been married as a couple 33 years, and they keep telling me that I changed their marriage, I changed their life as lovers and as a couple. Because when they introduced tantric practice, which is all described in my book, The Art of Sexual Ecstasy, it changed their life. They created a sacred space. They turned off all the phones and doorbells and faxes and whatever emails. They turned it all off. They did a heart salutation, which is a wonderful way of recycling the energy, also in my book. And then they opened a sacred space in which each has a chance to ask for what they need. Maybe they're tense, they need a relaxation, or they need a massage, or they need a hug because they haven't been touched, or they need tenderness, or whatever form of practice they need to do. And that is already creating harmony, because that's what you want to create in your married life. And then to learn about what really happens when you make love is also important. So every time you make love, follow it with a verbal feedback. You're in each other's arms. Don't go to sleep right away. Talk about what happened. And the third thing is, cancel making the other wrong. Cancel reproaches. It never works. Okay? It's just a form of your mind trying to protect your ego. I know better than you and all this kind of stuff. It's not the right approach. So when something doesn't work for you, refer to yourself and say, well, when we do this, I feel this and this and this and this. Not when we do this, you are making it wrong because, that doesn't work. Don't attack the other. Don't criticize the other. Don't denigrate the other. The other is a good person, just like you. Honor them even when something's not going right. If you have an explosion of emotion, go around the block, walk it out, breathe it out, drink it out. And when you're ready, when it's gone, come back and apologize to your partner. Say, look, I'm sorry. I couldn't control myself. Please forgive me. Honor the other, no matter what. I would say those are the basics.
Thank you, Margot, for sharing this. And from practices to couples, back to practices for individuals, do you have any recommendation for a daily or maybe weekly practice of 5 or 10 minutes for anyone who wants to find more peace within? Well,
depends. And there's several practices. One of them is in my book described called sexual breathing. So you open a central channel inside your body, through which you can connect with your different energy centers who are connected to your endocrine system. So you lie down with your knees pointed to the ceiling and the soles of your feet flat on the floor. And you imagine that you are inhaling through your sex and pulling your sexual energy all the way to your third eye or to your crown. And then exhaling back down from your crown, your third eye, through each of your chakra or energy centers, and exhaling out your sexual center, which is relaxed. So you inhale, tighten your muscles, pull the energy up, and then exhale, relax your muscles, and let the energy fall down through your central channel. That is a good one to be able to manage your sexual energy and spread your sexual orgasm and your sexual pleasure through your whole body. That's one. And the other one is just to sit quietly and meditate. And you can help keeping the mind at bay, not interrupting your meditation, by using a bija mantra, which I like, which is Ma. So you have ah singing in the throat, e resonating in the middle of the head, resonating at the crown. Hold it for a few seconds, and then exhale down with ma. And that's a ah in the heart. Ma is mother, matrix, creation, heartful opening. So that would be something that you could do out loud for 7 times, and then you could do it inwardly for as long as you're meditating. And if you do it slowly with your breath, you will see that that pacifies the mind, and the mind starts to kind of quiet down and doesn't bother you or doesn't interrupt your meditation so much. That would be 2 possibilities.
That's amazing. Thank you for these tips. And we'll take this now to a question which I'm really curious about, because I find you to be very vibrant, very playful, very sharp. You are full of energy at this age. And I'm really curious if you can give advice to people how to stay young, not only in the bodies, but in the spirit at a later stage of life.
Well, just wake up, work on your inner freedom. Work on not depending, when I came out of the Vipassana meditation, the big discovery that happened to me, the big present that Osho sent me, I would say, was this. As a woman and as a human being, you are free whether you have a partner or whether you don't have a partner. So that means that I don't depend on an outside person to make me happy. I have to go in and find the source of my own inner joy, my own inner happiness. And I call this source my inner lover. And I tell you, when you have difficulties, if you do deep breathing and you give all this to your heart, where your inner lover is residing, and you offer that to your inner lover, you dissolve and you resolve the difficulties quite quickly and in a very graceful way. So this then magnifies your happiness quota. You're able, because you have your source within and you don't depend on the outside, you are able to be more relaxed and more happy. So then you arrive at a stage of what I call stabilized contentment. It's not the great stars and stripes of illuminated orgasm or illuminated enlightenment, rather. It's simply stabilized contentment. So that is one of the secrets of staying happy when you get old. And the other one is have a daily routine practice. I have an hour of yoga that I do every morning, and I'm a great believer in all the many beautiful forms of yoga. I love it, I like it, and it really keeps me in good shape.
Thank you, Margot, for sharing your magical tips for everyone at every age. And let's hope the message reaches to so many people out there. And I have really one last question for you, and that is, what is the seed you want to leave behind you?
I think I've already done it. I think that I've simply received transmission from life masters and from masters outside of the body, and I have endeavored to, transmit what I received with the best integrity that I could provide. And I have been very passionate about my work. And now these institutes, the SkyDancing Tantra Institutes, are providing teachings, all over the world, many, many of them, with many trained certified SkyDancing Tantra teachers. And so the seed is already sown, the work is already growing. Many of the things I originated and created are now being taught and used as methods and practices in many, many tantric schools. So I've already done it. And for myself, I love the quote of Osho that says, enlightenment is a process that begins but never ends. So that means we all have awakenings that come and go. Now we know, we see, we feel our divine presence and origin. We receive the grace of this opening of consciousness. And then we're busy with everyday life again and we forget. And then we get back to this wonderful opening. And then we forget. And then slowly, we integrate these awakenings into a life that becomes more balanced, more graceful, less effortful, less stressed. And that's it.
Thank you, Margot, for this interview. It was a pleasure to have you. Thank you for helping thousands of people on the path of Tantra, the path of liberation, the path of being in the heart. And thank you for all the done you have been doing for many, many decades. And I wish I would say many decades to come, but that's not really always the case. So
I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, I want to say to my audience, this is my heart salutation to you. And I honor you as an aspect of myself. Be well, give it back to the earth, and dedicate your orgasm to peace in the world.